A shadow loomed.
You've done it again, Tsukumo. Can't believe you found it.
I figured Mitsuru Kusamoto would be in one of the better hospitals around the health ministry. That narrowed it down to just a few locations. Then I pinpointed the exact one through sheer determination.
And that led you to Toto University Hospital. So Mitsuru is still lying in a...
Yep. Reiko Kusamoto has been visiting her son every night for the past 13 years. Even after she became vice minister. If you gentlemen want to meet her in person, that would be your best chance.
But Yagami, you seriously think you can convince Reiko Kusamoto to turn herself in?
Well, gonna try at least.
She's at the top of the food chain. If it comes out that she committed murder, the whole country's gonna lose it.
If they hadn't tried to hide it, nobody else would have needed to pay for it.
Yeah.
And if she confesses to killing Kawai, public security will run out of reason. So in theory, that should free up the police to pursue Soma about Sawa-sen.
Totally agree with you there.
But Kawana-san's against that, right? Didn't he say...
Yeah. That's why he's not in the loop on this.
So, you're just gonna show up? You do know she's probably surrounded by public...
Just means we gotta be prepared for that. Like the professional...
Prepared? How?
Just leave it to us.
Got it.
See ya.
So what do you need from me in this, Yagami?
Got any old acquaintances in RK? Think you can find out where Soma and
You forget who you're talking to? Why wouldn't I? I knew a few ex-Tojo guys who go in and out of RK.
Thanks. Watch your back. They find out you're...
I'll be ready. Like the professional.
He's rough around the edge.
Yeah. Turns out he's got extra
Why don't you hire him at your office, Yagami?
I'll talk about that with Kaito-san once he recovers.
Why start apologizing now?
What are you? Don't worry. I'll give it back to you after this. I'm sure it's bugged, and we wouldn't want anyone listening in now, would we?
We'll take a few laps around the block, and then drop you back off at the hospital. Sorry, but we just need a bit of your time.
Very well. Who are you people?
We're just local detectives, but Kitakata-sensei is an acquaintance of ours. We know about Mitsuru-kun, and we know that 5 years ago, a man named Shinya Kawai mysteriously disappeared and died.
I have no idea what you're saying.
But you do. I know how this must come across right now, so I assure you, we aren't the ones posing a threat.
Fine. What is it you want, then?
All I want is the truth. In your own words. About Shinya Kawai, and how you carried out his murder.
You're mistaken. I didn't do it.
The other day you received a call from Kitakata-sensei, didn't you? He goes by the name Koana now, and works as a handyman in Ijincho. He made that call because we needed to confirm something.
Confirm what?
Whether or not you were being watched by public security.
Public security, you say?
As it turns out, you are. Your cell phone is bugged. It can even use GPS to trace who's on the other end of the line. That kind of trace is only possible with cooperation from the cellular providers. Unless you're public security, who could pull something like that off in secret. They want to hit you where you're vulnerable. And that's what you are now after Koana. Do you understand, Kusamoto-san? You must really be something special. You were never in this job for yourself. It fell into your lap as your predecessors fell like dominoes. That's why you don't owe anyone anything. You're free of constraints. And Mitsuru-kun's tragedy even gained you public sympathy on top of it. Combine all that with a capable bureaucrat like you, there's no telling what you could accomplish. You're cleaning up house, tackling the revolving door problems. Things you know are the right moves, but with no regard for the consequences. I understand even the cabinet gauges your opinion, since you have so much public support. But I think that's also made you some enemies. Most likely whoever's holding public security's leash.
I have more than a few enemies. I'm well aware of that. And I have no doubt public security would comply with them. To be quite frank, public security only exists to maintain the status quo. The establishment is made up of various powers which control politics and finance. But naturally, each branch has its own agendas, goals, ideas of justice, which leads to all sorts of issues and hindrances, which you call constraints. The more individuals who make up society, the more unavoidable that is.
Are you implying it's public security's job to loosen those constraints?
There's more to it than that. The world we live in requires all kinds, even in chaos. But if you loosen the constraints too far, the fall of the state is inevitable. In that regard, public security's role is to stabilize and maintain the state, even while bound by constraints. In other words, the constraints of these powers are precisely what are protected by public security. So the fact that I am not caught up in all that does, indeed, make me something of a pesky foreign object.
A pesky foreign object. I see. So to these establishment people, you're something to be excised.
I guess there's bullying among adults in high places, too.
Yeah. Now we know why they were looking for any kind of weakness in you. And that's when they turned the spotlight on Shinya Kawai's disappearance. An event that was triggered by Akihiro Ihara's case. You know the one, I presume.
Yes.
An active duty policeman exacted revenge on the bully who drove his son to suicide. Your enemies must have heard that and thought to themselves, what would Reiko Kusamoto have done to her son's bully? I'm guessing that's what prompted public security to make their move. As the details of Ahara's case came to light, a group of thugs calling themselves RK started looking for Shinya Kawai, all to find out that he was kidnapped 5 years ago, probably killed.
I never did anything out of revenge.
Even after finding out Kawhi disappeared, public security still had to verify it. But if they found out you were involved, that'd be a win for them. They'd finally know Reiko Kusamoto's weakness.
How long are you going to keep talking?
As public security figured out, the bullying cases involving Toshiro Ihara and your son share a common link. That link being Sawa-sensei. She was Mitsuru-kun's classmate and Toshiro Ihara's teacher. Not only that, she was also linked to Ahara's murder victim, Mikoshiba. She was his master teacher. So, not long after the murder, RK came to Ijincho and broke into her home. That must have been when they got Kawana's name out of her. I think Sawa-sensei suspected that Kawana was involved in Mikoshiba's murder. Then Soma steps in, with his professional interrogation skills, to beat and scare her into spilling everything. Kusamoto-san, you knew she was killed, right? Kawana should have told you over the phone.
Wait, are you not one of his colleagues? He said he wouldn't cause me any trouble, and that he would never call me again.
Kawana and I are competitors on a temporary ceasefire. We're not colleagues. Has anybody from public security contacted you?
I have my suspicions.
What are their names? I imagine what they wanted was to explode. Because if all they wanted was to eliminate you, some kind of...
Yes.
Do you have any idea what these people are after?
What they want is control of the pension fund, which is under the Health Ministry's jurisdiction.
Pension fund?
An independent agency within the ministry manages the National Pension Fund. It's taxpayer funded, and it's worth 160 trillion yen.
What?
And certain groups want to take bigger risks with that money in order to generate more profit. In other words, they want the Health Ministry to use taxpayer money to gamble. They believe that's the only way to rebuild Japan's faltering economy and secure the future of this country.
I mean, would it work?
Of course, if the gamble actually pays off. But if we lost the gamble, then we wouldn't be able to guarantee anything for the citizen. That's why the Health Ministry manages those funds conservatively. Even if it means...
Okay.
You do? Don't leave me...
To be able to gamble all this taxpayer money to save the economy? And here's Kusamoto-san, head of the office. Her position has the power to take action, to override the way the pension fund is managed. But not only does Kusamoto-san have the power, she has the support of the people. If a new vice minister were to try it, they'd be stopped cold by the constraints.
So that's why they wanted to find her weakness and exploit it?
Exactly. And if the 160 trillion yen gamble were to fail, they could blame the whole thing on Kusamoto-san anyway.
Okay. But wow. 160 trillion.
I'm guessing they've already contacted you about it?
That's an assumption.
I have to ask you about Shinya Kawai. You killed him 5 years ago. With your own hands, didn't you? I understand what you're
Hold on, don't start yet. I'm in a cutscene right now.
We'll just hop on it to see if it has like
feelings
a
must be
continued
towards Kawai.
game
If you've
or whatever.
spoken to Kitakata-sensei, then you must know about
Oh, my
the...
progress has been lost on that.
Aside from Kawai, the other students pretended they put on their sad faces. When they came to visit Mitsuru, I don't think they really wanted Mitsuru to wake up. In fact, that's what they were checking on. I bowed my head and thanked them. It was only later that Kitakata-sensei showed me the
Oh
video.
wow, bro, this game actually sounds
That's
pretty
when I
good.
knew.
What the hell?
And your solution was to pull them into the quagmire? Make them accomplices in murdering
You already know so much.
How's your son doing?
I don't want to skip the cutscene.
He could wake up any minute now.
I see.
We transferred him to Toto Uni, but it turns out they don't do anything much different from the previous hospital.
I get it now. Let me reiterate.
Then please.
Anything you want me to tell Kawana?
I do. He needs to run. Far away. Public security has their sights on him. His capture is not a question of if, but when. He's in danger if he remains in the country. And once public security has him, they will extract everything he knows.
You mean he'd be tortured?
Yes. Somewhere well beyond the public eye. No one can withstand what they do. He'd tell them everything. And as for me...
They would expose your vulnerability, making you their pawn.
Most likely. They'd gamble away the taxpayers' money, and I'd never purge the corruption in the health ministry.
I get that. What does it matter?
What?
But what does it matter?
Nah, bro,
Because in my
You're the
opinion,
face on trash ass game, dog.
You need to turn yourself in.
Oh, he just doesn't know the method, dude.
Yeah,
to
just
admit
your
to
bitch ass
manslaughter.
doesn't.
Don't know the. Okay, well, my judge eyes,
You
he
think I
passed.
killed a real man?
Oh my god, I'm a level 7 duelist, my
He
file
was
on here,
little
bro.
more than
No,
a
we're
son.
restarting.
God,
We're
level
restarting.
7, dude.
And you saw
Level
how
7 Oh, duelist. okay, so I guess you can
That
create
did
new
to my
characters.
son.
It's, like, the story's still gonna be the same, but you can, like...
I hated Kitakata-sensei. He was an
Because this is like an
incompetent
online
teacher.
game, right? So it's
That
not
look
like
idiot who turned a blind eye to Mitsuru being
it
tortured.
on here?
That changed when he suddenly showed up 8 years later.
On the
And then he showed me that video.
Oh.
He said
My name was Adrian with that
every
O.
employee in that video,
Oh my god.
they deserved to be punished. That it was the only way to get closure.
You took him up on it.
Calm down.
But you of all people should have known better.
I'll
True.
create new characters.
You're right about that. I struggled with it quite a bit.
Ooh, let's do
It's an
hardcore, let's do
unconscionable
hardcore.
act,
We're
no
not
matter
doing
how
hardcore.
deep your animosity runs.
What's wrong with you?
Takata-sensei's words hung on. I
I
couldn't
did
get them out of
hardcore
my
in
head.
Diablo 3.
I
We
saw
got pretty
for
far.
myself. I went to Kamurocho where I'd heard Kawhi was working, at a girls' bar. So you know, after Mitsuru jumped that day, Kawhi came to me in tears to apologize. I hadn't seen him in all that time. If he'd frozen in place when he saw me, if he'd been the slightest bit apologetic, I might have been able to stay my hand.
I take it he didn't do any of that.
Right.
The settler
He didn't even
standard.
recognize my face.
Hitler?
And that's hardly the worst part of it, actually.
Bruh.
When he saw me, he took me
There's
for
the
some
Templar,
bawdy cougar on the prowl for
Shadow,
young
the
men.
Marauder, the
If you got the
Ranger,
cash, I'll
Duelist.
show you a good time, he said. All those tears he'd shed years earlier were a farce. But I knew that. Deep down, I'd already known that. That was it. That was the moment I lost all doubt about killing him.
Yeah.
And as for those other kids who bullied Mitsuru, they should thank me they didn't share his fate. But that's why.
I have to enter
That's
a new
why
name.
I don't
No
feel
way.
like I have
My
any sins
character
to
name
atone
has
for.
expired.
Every night. Every night
I'm not
I
gonna
pray
rename
he
it. I'm
will
gonna
wake
delete
up.
this character.
What more can you ask me to endure?
Kawana said something similar. But you think you can repeat all that? This time say it to her.
Oh, okay, never mind. I have to rename it. I have to move all items that I want to keep into my stash.
You and Kawana can
No
congratulate
way.
yourselves. You got vengeance on a monster. But what you're choosing not to see is that your actions had consequences for her. It's vicious.
Character name already
I've
exists?
seen this before.
You know what?
Justice for one at the cost of another. Someone innocent always pays the price.
Oh my god.
I won't.
Judgment.
I won't just sit here and watch as history tries to repeat itself. This phone isn't being traced by anyone. So, if you have a
So
change of
no,
heart,
so all the stuff you did when
Just
you
give me a
first
call
play, you
before you
keep
turn
it, but that's
yourself
if
in.
you move it to your stash. Oh my god.
that's all I had to say.
Why do I look like that?
We're back.
I look like a serial killer. What the hell?
B2.
Where? Oh my god.
What is this cutscene end?
I'm literally Ghost Rider, medieval Ghost Rider.
Odo, don't start.
No, I'm just gonna move. I might delete this character. Or I'm gonna see what level yours is at. Cause if it's at least around level 7, then I might not delete it.
I think I might be like 5 or something.
Cause even if I delete it, we're gonna have to freaking stay on the leave off where we played.
Alright, hold up. It's about to
Shut up,
save.
nigga.
Or I gotta save it.
Mark,
Hold up.
do you have Lost Judgment?
No, I got this from Telly.
Where the fuck you then, Mark?
What about?
Right here, okay?
How do you guys think of the
Yakuza?
new group
Yeah.
chat name?
I'm gonna go talk to
The
Kawana.
did
Need to
he
tell him
party? Did he?
No, I
party?
changed it.
Pissed, you know? He's gonna try to rip you a new one.
That's true. So you might want to sit this one out.
There's miners in the
Sure.
race.
I'm gonna go watch the new Transformers movie when it comes out.
Oh, you're gonna see a bunch of miners, bro. Oh my god.
I can't save. Never mind. There you go.
Who changed the background?
I lost my judge eyes when you